Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. In this video, I'm going to be installing a Kenmore brand dishwasher. This dishwasher is customer supplied. I haven't seen the unit itself, so there will be a bit of a learning curve as we go along, but I'm fairly confident after installing hundreds of dishwashers throughout my plumbing career, I'm not going to have too much issue with this. So with that in mind, we'll get our setup. So here's the space where the dishwasher was. I already took it out. We have water in the back. There is the wire with the plastic grommet. Inside the cabinet, the dishwasher will be connected to the garberator just like the previous one was. With that in mind, what we'll do now is material and tools. Alright, this is the materials list for this job minus the dishwasher because that's on site. So I have a dishwasher supply line. This is specifically a 4-foot. You can get them in 5 and 6. Now, these are the dishwasher 90s. You can either get them with the supply line or separately because I already had these. I didn't need to get it with the supply line. I don't know which of the two styles I need yet because I haven't actually looked at the unit. The other stuff that you might need, morettes, also known as wire connectors, a plastic grommet. So the plastic grommet is a 1/2-inch Lumex fitting. This is for where the power comes into the electrical box for the dishwasher. A gear clamp. This is 1/2-inch by 1.25 inches. There is a gear clamp that's already on the garberator, so I'm going to reuse it. But in case you don't have one, this is the gear clamp that you're going to need here. To strap up the dishwasher drain line, 1/2-inch steel strap. And then number 8 by 3/4 screws. I'll only need one. But because there's so much stuff in the cabinet, I'm going to go ahead and strap this up instead of using zap straps. Guys, once again, this is the materials list minus the unit itself. So what we'll do now is look at our dishwasher. This is the unit. On top is the brackets, gear clamp for the drain hose, a couple screws. And then this is the drain hose. So this is the stuff that comes with the unit. The other stuff you're going to have to supply on your own. But guys, this is the material list for this job. So what we'll do now is the tools list. Or this is the tools list for this job. So I have my pouch, hand tools, measuring tape, tin snips, maybe needle nose pliers. We'll see how this goes. My finishing kit. So level, wire strippers, volt stick. We'll see what else I need as I go along. Bits, Phillips, maybe a Robertson, cordless drill, a work light, and then on the far right an extension cord. Guys, this is the tools list for this job. We'll go through the tools as we go along because I'm not quite sure what I need yet, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So with that in mind, let's install this dishwasher. The bottom panel here is held in place by 2 Phillips screws. These are number 2 screws. So take the 2 screws off. Underneath will be the power connection. Generally the water is in front as well. This is the electrical box for power. It's held on by 1 Phillips screw. Again, it's a number 2. So go ahead and then take the screw off, and then you can take the cover off. These are the parts for the bottom. So there are longer screws for the bottom cover, and then there's one short screw for the cover for the power box. These are the wires for the unit. At the bottom, there is a small channel for your wire to go through. It's a little bit too dark to see here, but I will show you this again later on. So the power will come from the back of the unit, underneath the unit, through this channel up to the box. So in the back here, this is the water connection, and then the tube to the right is the drain line where the drain hose will hook up to. Measuring from the floor, the space height is 34 3/4. So I'm going to try to set up the dishwasher to be maybe 1/4 or a 1/2 inch low. On this unit, there are 2 feet in the front, 1 in the back. So to raise the unit, you unscrew the feet, so it'll be counterclockwise. To lower the unit will be clockwise. You'll have to move them back and forth as you need to to get the unit plumb and level. For the back foot here, there is a slot for an Allen key. So this is a standard Allen key, and unscrew it to get the foot to slide out. I think it'd actually be better if the unit was right side up, but like I said, I've never seen this unit before, so this is a bit of a learning curve. So here the level is on the top of the unit. Make sure that the level is level all the way across. Once that is done, you can go ahead and check for plumb on this side. Keep one thing in mind, that you're going to have to adjust your feet back and forth because the floor may be unlevel or something might be a little bit out. Here's the level on the side. It's plumb. Check once again that it's level. Remember, this is only the intermediary here. We're only going to make sure that it's roughly where it needs to be because things might change once it's inside the space. So with the dishwasher in the space, look at the gap at the top. Make sure that they're roughly parallel. And then look at the spacing from the side. Make sure that they're both parallel as well. Make sure that they're plumb. This side here is going to be the more visual side. The other side is a hallway. So this side will be more important than the opposite side. If one side has to be out, it is better to be the non-visual side. This is the channel for the wire. The wire in this case is a little bit short, but make sure that the wire goes down the channel so the dishwasher unit is not sitting on top of the wire. For our water connection here, this is going to use the Dishwasher 90 that has rubber washers. So in this case here, you're not going to need any Teflon tape. Using a 5/8 and 9/16 wrench, the Dishwasher 90 can be tightened onto the dishwasher supply line. When tightening the Dishwasher 90 to the supply line, tighten it until it stops. I've never broken one of these things, so you can be aggressive. Also, if you have the old dishwasher supply line, I highly recommend just put in a brand new line. Even if the old one is in fine shape, you don't know what condition it is in. Thread the 90 onto the unit as tight as you can by hand, and then make sure that you have the dishwasher supply line pointing back towards the water connection. Finish tightening the 90 onto the unit by using channel locks. Once again, tighten it until it stops. To connect the supply line to the copper, I'm going to use a 5/8 wrench and then a 10-inch crescent wrench. Now, the fitting on the end of the copper is some type of compression fitting, so be very careful about where you're actually going to back wrench on. You don't want to start spinning a compression fitting, because if you do, you can change the position of the ferrule and then have a leak. But once again, tighten this down all the way until it stops. With the circular handle, this is a globe style valve, so open it all the way and then give it a quarter turn back in just so the valve doesn't seize to the body. With water back on, check for leaks at the connection between the dishwasher supply here, and then also check for leaks at the dishwasher 90, so between the supply line and the 90, and then the 90 and the unit. The drain hose for this unit needs to be slid over the nipple that is sticking out from the unit itself, and then the gear clamp needs to be tightened on. You can either use a 1/4-inch nut driver, or I'm just going to use a number 2 Phillips once again. Once you tighten this up, just give it a tug to make sure that it's nice and tight and it's not sliding off, because you're not going to be able to see if it's a leak because it's in the back. So for the mounting brackets, here's the bracket. It's going to slide into the groove, and then using a pair of channel locks, you can probably also use needle nose pliers, just bend the tab over so it bites onto the unit itself. So this is it installed. The 3 holes allows you flexibility for which screw you want to use for mounting. I didn't show this, but I put the drain into the hole between the cabinet where the dishwasher and the kitchen sink is. So for the wires have like a solder or something on the end of it, so I like to cut it off, and then I'm going to strip back a 1/2 inch. Now the copper here is a bunch of small strands, so what I'm doing is this: I am tightening the strands of wires together. Do it for all 3, and then we can look at putting on the grommet. Now, one thing to also keep in mind is I removed the old plastic grommet that was on the orange wire before because it was too big and bulky. What they have here is the hole for the wire comes up into the box from the bottom, which it's a little bit different from what I'm used to. Here's the grommet. It does go a certain way. The door will clamp onto the wire so you can push the grommet on, but you won't be able to pull the wire out. Here's the grommet. Make sure that the outer sheathing is going all the way through where it's going to be biting down by the directional door in the grommet. So I couldn't get the grommet into the hole in the box. I tried this for a good 10 minutes. So what I wound up doing was taking the box off. This is the first time I've ran into this problem. Once I took the box off, I didn't have a problem getting the leverage I needed to get the grommet into the box. But make sure that the grommet is snapped in place because this is line voltage and you don't want to get zapped if you touch your dishwasher. The screw holding on the box is, again, a number 2 Phillips. There's also a couple of holes with protrusions to line up the box, so you can easily realign the box if you have to take it off. I think somebody thought of this ahead of time when they made this design. Alright, when it comes to connecting power, the wire from the house I think is a 12 gauge, and then the wires from the unit is a 14 or 16. Since the wire from the unit is a lot more flexible, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap around the wire from the house and then put on the moret. When the moret is on, make sure that you give it a tug so it's nice and solid. But do the ground first, the neutral second, and then the hot last. That's the way an electrician told me to wire up an appliance. You always want the hot to be last. When you disconnect it, you want to disconnect the hot first, neutral, and then ground. So the drain line can be reconnected to the garberator like it was before. So there is the original gear clamp that I'm reusing here. This is a 5/16. So make sure that you slide the drain all the way onto the outlet for the garberator. And then when you tighten on the gear clamp, make sure that it's nice and convenient so it's easy to remove later on. Using the steel strap and a 3/4 screw, I'm going to go ahead and strap up the drain line up in the back so it has the correct high loop. One thing to note, the drainage in this kitchen sink is an absolute mess. With all the wires pushed back into the box, the cover can be reinstalled. So the cover has a couple slots on the right side. So it is particular the way that you mount the cover back on. Once you get the slots on the cover into the hole, you can tighten up the one screw. Make sure that you're also not pinching any wires, and if your dishwasher doesn't start, it's probably one of your morets fell off, and that is the reason that it's not getting power. Last thing to do is to reinstall the screw. Once again, make sure that no wires have been pinched underneath the cover. I wound up using 3/4 by number 8 screws, the ones that I brought. The screws that they provided were way too long, but this shows you where you can choose which hole you want to use for mounting. There are side mounting holes here. I didn't use them, but they also come with plastic covers. Make sure that you put the plastic cover in so you don't have any water that drips out of the unit. 8, you can't read anything. So what I'm going to do is flip the breaker on, and we'll go and give the dishwasher a test. This unit is a 49 decibel unit. It's running, but it's so incredibly quiet that you can't hear anything, which is fantastic. Make sure to test the dishwasher also. I would recommend fill up the right compartment where the gear clamp is for the dishwasher drain line into the garberator, and make sure that you have a solid test. The drain line is now properly strapped up, so the dishwasher should be running properly. Before, it was just hanging on the ground all loose. Do a last visual check. Make sure that the countertop and the edge of the dishwasher line up, and then on the side, make sure that the edge of the dishwasher and the cabinetry is parallel. These both look fine, so the last thing to do is put on the bottom cover. For the bottom cover, make sure that the cover is sitting on the floor. That's why there's two long slots where the mounting screws are installed. It is to take up the elevation for when the dishwasher is installed. But once the bottom cover here has been installed, everything is all done. So what we'll do now is go over this job. Alright guys, so that concludes this job. So there are a couple things on this install. First of all, I've never had a water line come up in the actual cabinet space. Now, because of the water line, the copper being in the cabinet space, I actually had to nudge the dishwasher out a little bit farther than I would have normally done. Everything did work out in the end, so it's not a big deal. But one other thing about dishwashers nowadays, I don't know why they have these buttons at the top. In my opinion, they should be in the front like a stove. It just makes it harder to access the buttons because of the overhang of the countertop. The one other thing is, I think for the back leg there is a plastic fitting that you can put your screwdriver into. Like I said, because I didn't actually see this dishwasher beforehand, I'm unfamiliar, but everything worked out in the end. So I hope what I've shown you guys will make your install go that much easier. Otherwise, make sure that your dishwasher is level and it's plumb. One thing I noticed was when you look at the dishwasher on the right side, it was parallel vertically with the cabinet, and then the other side was a little bit out, which means something in the cabinetry is out. If you have this type of situation, in my opinion, the more open side, the side that you're going to see, so when you look at the dishwasher, the right side is where the dining room table is. That is where people are going to be going back and forth, opposed to the other side, which is a hallway. So if something has to be out, make sure that the side that is less visible is going to be out, so overall it looks better. Otherwise, make sure that you line up your dishwasher with the countertop so everything is nice and straight, so when you look at it, everything looks symmetrical. The time on this job. The time was about an hour and a half. I think that's pretty standard for most installs, at least for me. Hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. One other problem I had is with the plastic grommet. I actually had to take the box off because I couldn't get the grommet in. Once I took it off, I had the levers with channel lock pliers. So that was one issue for this install that I haven't come across before. The cost of this job. The cost in total was about $600. So the unit, I was told, was $500 plus tax. I had to supply a dishwasher supply line, a 90 to go along with it. I actually wound up using my own Moretz, and then I also changed out the plastic grommet because the old one they had wasn't going to work for the setup that we had here. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I hope what I've shown you here is going to help make your Kenmore dishwasher install go that much smoother. Guys, until next time, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.